Here's a clip from the Southwestern Lead app.
What percent of any relationship are you responsible for? Yeah, there's a whole bunch of people that have heard that, and I'm glad I'm getting the message, but it's 100%. And if you think it's only 50%, you're only giving half the effort. And if you only give half the effort, it's going to end up with half a relationship. Let's talk a little bit about relationships. To me, relationships are absolutely everything. You know, a lot of people have long memories about relationships as well. I was at Florida State about, a month ago, guys? Yeah. And, went to meet with one of the ladies in the Career Center, and we started talking about the history and some things that have happened, and I started to say something about University of Georgia and a little issue that happened at UGA probably 10 years ago now, and she says, "Oh yeah, I was there." I'm going, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, I was meeting with Ronnie Swoops, who was doing a lot of the work study and student employment there in the Career Center at the time. And she was working in the office across the hall. And now 10 years later, she's at Florida State." The doing the whole relationship thing is all about attitude. And, I remember hearing a story about Harvey Mackay, and Harvey Mackay grew up in Minnesota. He graduated with a degree in marketing and went out and started to work for an envelope company. And he was trying to get to this one person, and he was trying to get to this one person. He couldn't, not only couldn't he sell, he couldn't get them to meet. And he didn't know what to do. He was kind of at wit's end, and so one weekend, a few weeks into his work, he went and asked his dad, he said, "What do I do? I mean, how am I going to learn how to be successful and do this?" And he said, "Well, you go and ask the old sage, who's the person who's been there for a while, of how they're making those connections." And so he did. He went to work the next morning. He's in the parking lot. He sees the guy get out of his car, and he walks up and he introduces himself, says, "So, Mr. " can't remember his name, how long are you going to keep trying to get that sale or that connection in that company? I mean, when do you quit?" And the guy looked back at him and he said, "It depends on which of us dies first." That's about creating a relationship. That's about having some passion for what it is and what you want to be able to accomplish. So as we look at relationships, this is one way that we can do relationships, right? We just put our head in the sand. We say things like, "Well, you don't care," or, "They're not important," or "It's somebody else's responsibility." We can always come up with some kind of an excuse and not take the responsibility for ourselves. Or we can just open the doors and do the kinds of things that we know we need to be doing and just say, "I'll take the responsibility and I will make this work." We're talking about 4 different components of relationships. First, the connection. How do we connect, or do we? Secondly, then how do we become relevant to the people that we're having the conversation with? Thirdly, do we resonate with them? Are we simpatico? Are we getting along? And then fourthly, do we make an impact? What is that impact that we may make? And you're doing that every day, whether you're in an info session, you're doing a follow-up interview, I've got 30 minutes or 45 minutes or 60 minutes. What do I need to do to make an impact? And so how well do we connect and engage with people? And if we look on that page 16, what you're going to see are some different action steps that you can have with different people that you're meeting with. How this tool can be useful is write somebody's name up there at the top. It might be a significant other, it might be a parent, so don't think in the generalities. I want you to think specifically. So now we look at the strategies. These are the connecting strategies. It might be a new person in your life. So how do you learn about them, their background, etc.? Understand their agenda. You'll see through all 8 of these different arenas. So that's pretty helpful to make sure that we just go the first step, and that's get some kind of a relationship started. And some of those relationships obviously are going to go on for a long time, but put one person at the top and then think in terms of one of those questions there What's one action step you can do next week to help better make a connection? One connection, one person. And what's one of those action steps that you can put in place this next week? Next thing we're looking at is building trust. You've got to give the trust to get the trust. So thinking of some things that can be trust builders as you're meeting with new people, as you can make connections. You want to build your network before you need it. Better to know the right questions than to have all of the answers. Making sure that you're asking them questions as you're building that relationship. So when you're sitting down with somebody new, what are some of your go-to good questions for building a relationship? Do you trust me? Okay, that opens up some doors. Katie, did you have what?
Yeah, just like background, like hobbies or, general information, I guess.
Hobbies, general information, just background.
Who's the most influential person in your life and why?
Who's the most influential person in your life and why? Tell me about your family. Yep. A moment that you're most proud of. Okay.
What was your biggest failure?
What's your biggest failure? It is so powerful to have good questions. I can't tell you how powerful it is just to have good questions. So the next is that we want to become relevant. You know, how do you make yourself relevant to others and create a desire to build a relationship, build a relationship with you? Yeah. Sometimes you read over those and miss them, don't you? How do you get to know another person's agenda? You ask, and so a question for agenda. Is there anything I can do for you? To succeed, need a small group of people who trust you, believe in you, and are committed to you, not just a whole bunch of contacts. Absolutely. The people who trust you.
Southwestern Lead is an international leadership program that helps you build skills, gain confidence, and discover new opportunities. With professional coaching, a world-class digital learning platform, and certifications that will enhance your resume or application, Lead sets you apart. We'll show you how to turn success principles into success habits through small group training, one-on-one coaching, and guided action plans to help you apply what you're learning. It takes more than academics to reach your goals. See what one of America's oldest leadership training programs can do for you. Visit southwesternlead.com.
The next is to resonate. How do you get them to resonate with you so that you have a deep emotional bond? We've heard emotion several times throughout the last couple of days here, that it isn't all just logical, it's emotional. Integrity is not important, it's absolutely everything. Your integrity, your word. Sometimes we get off to an awkward start, so don't be afraid to just back up and say, let's start again. Integrity busters to avoid. Believing your goal is so important over everything else. Finding out what theirs is more important. Taking those small shortcuts. Oh, I'll just do this one time. Well, I need to do this to remain competitive. It isn't really going to harm anybody, so I guess it's okay. Those things will come back to get you. You know, they'll never know. Moving next to impact. This is the last thing of how do you create the lasting impact? What are you going to do, say, or ask in that time period to show them that you believe in them? We've heard that from a couple of speakers today as well. And don't wait to let someone know how much they mean to you. You need to tell them, need to be upfront. There's always something that you can do, no matter how small, to help those others around you. So, to reach their fullest potential, people need both the truth and the love. We need to let people know we love them and we believe in them, but sometimes we have to call them on their stuff. And that's not easy to do. And have to learn that balance of when do you believe, when do you love, and when do you call them on their stuff. Every act of generosity creates a ripple. Every little thing you do, whether good or bad, creates the ripple. And you've really got the choice. You've got the choice what you can do and how you create the relationships in all four of those components. That starts to create the power of the relationships. And it's all about relationships.